Have you ever wished you could press undo on life? You know, like Control+Z, but for that embarrassing text you sent at 2 a.m.? Or better still, rewind time and avoid that one terrible decision, like saying yes to karaoke when you know you can't sing? Well, imagine if you could literally unjump into a fresh start. That's the kind of wishful longing that opens this book, a tiny but explosive collection of poems that somehow manages to pack love, politics, motherhood, and even workplace harassment into just 36 pages. Today we're diving into a poetry collection that proves you don't need 1,000 words to punch someone right in the gut or make them laugh. These poems are short, pithy, and loaded with meaning. But before I tell you the name of this book, let's jump, pun intended, into the stories and moments Beverley Nambozo Nsengiyunva gives us. The first poem, and the one that lends its name to the collection, is all about regret. Think about those if only moments we all have, the kind where you wish life came with a reset button. That's what Unjumping is about. This impossible longing to unwind time, to start again with a clean slate. This poem sets the tone for the rest of the book. It whispers that life is messy, time doesn't reverse, and yet, the yearning is universal. And then comes Undo Me. Imagine distilling the entire history of love, heartbreak, and reconciliation into just 6 lines and 28 words. That's exactly what Beverley does. It's a plea from a woman, possibly to her lover, asking for reconciliation and the fulfillment of love. Short as it is, this poem is an example of Beverley's strength, her ability to pour oceans of emotion into a thimble of words. But Beverley doesn't stop at love and regret. Oh no, she wades into the murky waters of workplace sexual harassment, and somehow she makes us smirk while we squirm. The poem Please Boss is a gem. It recounts some of the sexual harassment that happens in workplaces, but Beverley approaches it with a tone of sharp, ironic humor. She writes,
"Please, if we must, then not on the desk. You're the boss. You deserve the plush Persian carpet. The desk has too much of me. Cluttered clips, torn trash, memorized minutes. If we must, then not on the desk."
You can feel the tension in every word. Look at how she uses alliteration, cluttered clips, torn trash. It's as if those phrases are choking on the moment's discomfort. But there's also biting humor here. The boss wants to do it on the desk. How cliched can you get? And the subordinate, with delicious irony, suggests they downgrade to the floor. The same floor that, in this context, represents a fall from power and authority. It's witty, it's sharp, it's uncomfortable, and that's what makes it brilliant. The longest piece in the collection is Suicide Bomber, which is as tragic as it is haunting. Beverley twists the idea of a suicide bomber into a love poem, possibly written for a loved one who was a victim of the London bombings on July 7, 2005. This poem pushes us to question morality, good and bad, right and wrong, just like Beverley reflects on the contradictions taught in Sunday school. She asks why certain behaviors are forbidden to children or women, but suddenly permissible when it comes to adults or men. It's a powerful, questioning piece that lingers long after you've read it. Then we have politics, and Beverley knows how to turn a political critique into a clever fable. In Mamba, Crocodile Farm in Mombasa, she paints a picture of nepotism and corruption that's all too familiar on the African continent. The octogenarian leader, clearly modeled on real-life rulers, is the big daddy, while the people around him are crocodiles circling, waiting, feeding. This is politics at its rawest, a leader hoarding resources while corruption swirls like murky waters. Some of Beverley's poems hit like a sudden gust of sadness. The Virgin Mary is one of those. It's about a man who refuses to take responsibility for the child he's fathered, accusing the woman of cheating. The opening lines alone are heavy with pain and irony.
"I can be the Virgin Mary, as long as the child is yours."
There's so much emotion packed in those 2 lines, innocence, desperation, and a hint of sarcastic defiance. You know, post-colonial literature is still dominated by English, and that often leaves local languages kinda on the margins. Apart from giants like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, not many writers switch fluidly between English and their mother tongues. Beverley, however, surprises us with a poem written in her local language. I may not fully understand it, but I appreciate it deeply. It's a reminder that the heartbeat of African poetry doesn't always thump in English. At the family level, Beverley dedicates Dancing to her husband, a poem that just radiates love and tenderness. Then there's Coffee, where she manages to compare sex to the brewing of coffee. Think about that for a second. It's a playful, sensual metaphor, and like good coffee, it leaves you both satisfied and wanting more. If you've ever been to Kampala, you know about the metal scanners. They're everywhere. Shopping malls, hotels, you name it. Beverley captures this reality in the poem Al-Qaeda, where she writes,
I am an Al-Qaeda. Metal scanners are my foes, my friends.
That line is simple but brilliant. It's a commentary on the strange paranoia of modern life, and perhaps the absurdity of being treated as a threat for simply existing. This collection came into existence because Beverley made it to the top 3 out of nearly 2,000 entries in the 2010 Urbachi Prize for Poetry. The judges called her work highly original, innovative, and a breath of fresh air. And I couldn't agree more. The book I've been talking about is Unjumping, published by Urbachi Press in 2010, and it's just 36 pages long, by Beverley Nambozo Nsengiyunva. What I love most about this collection is how deceptively simple it is. Each poem is a lightning strike, brief but powerful. Beverley doesn't waste words. She doesn't dance around meaning. And yet she still manages to inject humor, sharp social commentary, and raw emotion into her work. Themes like regret, love, sexual harassment, politics, motherhood, and post-colonial identity run through these pages. Some poems sting, others make you laugh in disbelief, but all of them stay with you long after you've read them. And isn't that what great poetry is supposed to do? Beverley Nambozo Nsengiyunva is a Ugandan poet with a bold and refreshing voice. This collection proves she's not afraid to tackle tough topics, from the abuse of power to the tender moments of love. The judges who praised her originality weren't exaggerating. She truly stands out as one of those poets who can make 10 words do the work of 100. If you ever find yourself intimidated by poetry because it feels too heavy or too abstract, Unjumping is the antidote. It's accessible, modern, and incredibly human. You can read it in one sitting, but I promise it'll linger with you for days, maybe weeks. So if you can get your hands on this slim but mighty book, I'd highly recommend it. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.